1987. What is your problem?
You should be up there anyway. It's fine.
I am going to go back a few years to 1987. I was incumbent at the Penitentiary machine in those days, and this beautiful young woman appeared in the summertime, around 87, and introduced herself as Linda Robertson. She was on the executive of the Diocese of ACW, and after we chatted for a while, she said, I have a son who is interested in going into the ministry. And you know, I think back to those days, and it's interesting. Linda turned up quite regularly to church. Did I ever lay eyes on it was with great interest that I bumped into him about 10 years later at some diocesan consultation. And he was not yet ordained, but he was clearly on the track, and we had a good conversation. I remember I had a good chance to get to know him, and I really was left with some strong sense of he as a sensitive person, as a person who really cared about people, a guy who really wanted to be doing the right thing because he loved God and he loved the church. And so it was no surprise to hear that he was coming here, except that I suddenly realized that this kid who's been in university is now going to be my boss. So now I go back 6.5 years, to the night of his induction here. And most of you who were there will remember that Bishop Doug Blackwell was the preacher that night. Before the service, Doug and I had an opportunity to be in the office together. There was nobody else around. And he said two things that I think are relevant. He said he had been Kevin's bishop of St. Peter's, Oshawa. He said, ever since I got to know Kevin, I have the feeling that he was born to be a priest. He's kind of the real thing, the package, the real good. And the other thing, after we chatted a bit more, we were talking about how youthful, how young, actually, very young he looked. And that was deceiving. And Doug said, yeah, it's like he's 34 going on 60. And Bob and I have often remarked, actually, on how very accurate that is. And I guess that's really what I just want to say that as my boss, it has been a joy because of that. You have been 34 going on 60, 35 going on 60. And by that I mean that is really a compliment. Your judgment, your spirituality, your leadership, I guess the bottom line for me is your generosity of spirit, your generosity of friendship, of trust, of support, of encouragement. You are a deeply generous and loving person. And I thank you for 6.5 years of being my kid boss. You go with our love, everybody's love, but you also go with our prayers. And thanks very much for the way you spoke to us this morning in church. Bless you.